Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Radio 1 95.7 FM. I'm your host, Hussein Muhammad, and this is Airwaves. Today, we have a very special guest. Can you please introduce yourself, miss?
Hi, my name is Dare, and I'm with the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful to have you. Thank you so much for coming on our show. And, first of all, I'd like to ask you, how long have you been working in Iraq?
I have been in Iraq almost 2 years this tour. I've actually been in Iraq once before, about 14 years ago, for a year.
Oh, wow. So basically you travel around?
I do. With the Foreign Service, I get to go to a variety of places. I'm very fortunate to meet a lot of different people and a lot of different cultures.
Wow, that's very interesting. So, where did you used to live in the U.S.? Where did you grow up?
Actually, my father was in the American military, and I grew up mostly overseas. Most of my life would be in Asia and Europe.
Interesting. Wow. So how do you like it here in Iraq? What's different about it? What do you like?
I love Iraq. I love the history and the culture. I think that if I had the opportunity, I'd love to see Babylon. The food in Iraq is amazing. One of my favorites is kuzi.
Ooh.
So
Good choice. Good choice. So basically, what's it like to work here in the U.S. On the U.S. mission here in Iraq? What's that for you?
the U.S. mission in Iraq is an awesome opportunity to be able to do significant, important projects and tasks to help Iraq and to make good connections and work with great people.
So where do people find the list of advertised positions to apply for the U.S. Embassy?
If people go to iq.usembassy.gov, they'll be able to find our front-facing webpage, and they'll be able to find job opportunities about midway down if they scroll down about midway, and then if they follow all the links, they'll be able to connect to where all the different job opportunities at that time are available.
So like what kind of job opportunities are available usually?
We have job opportunities in the public affairs sector. We have job opportunities in engineering. We have job opportunities actually in the human resources sector. We have job opportunities in a variety of different types of career fields, actually.
Interesting. So it's a lot of stuff that you guys are working on at the same time. So you require a lot of applicants. But what advice would you really give to the applicants who make an application to your people?
So when they go to the website and it gives them instructions, they should read the instructions thoroughly. When they find a job vacancy for which they think they qualify, they should read the job vacancy thoroughly, including the position description. There'll be a link for that at the bottom of the job vacancy, and that's going to give them the most information about the qualifications needed for that position. Once they have a full understanding of those bits of information, they can create an application and submit it. The application, there'll be a questionnaire. They should answer all the questions thoroughly.
So basically, I know there's information, of course, it's going to ask you certain questions and stuff like that, but maybe there's something that applicants can miss or misunderstand. What advice would you like? What information should the applicants be providing?
So actually, it's very fortunate because during the vacancy period, say that the vacancy is for 2 weeks, they see it in the first week and they submit their application. Even after they submit it, they can edit their application up until the close date of the vacancy. And they can go through and double check that everything they wanted was the way it should be. So I recommend before they submit, they thoroughly check it because it'll save. And then once they submit, if for some reason they need to make a change, they're still able to do that up until the close date.
That's very interesting. So they'll have the opportunity to basically go back and look at their things. And that means that their application will be looked at only after that period. Is that what's...
That's correct.
Oh, that's interesting. So how do they know that their application was submitted successfully?
Once they hit submit, they'll receive an automatic email saying that it was accepted. So if they haven't received that, they should double check all the instructions to make sure they submitted correctly.
So can applicants apply for multiple positions, or will they have to rewrite the same answers and the same questions to different positions?
Applicants can apply for multiple positions, and I recommend that when they apply for a new position that they look at their applicant profile, if you will, and only use the same applicant profile. Don't create a new one, always use the same one. And when they apply for a different position, say that, for instance, if you had a background both in engineering and in HR, and 2 weeks ago you applied for an engineering position and you listed all your engineering information in the questionnaire that you answer in that process. With the human resources position, you also have information and experience in HR. So you want to make sure that your application and your profile is tailored to your specific information for the HR position. So both are correct and accurate and true, and they need to be focused on what that position description for that vacancy is asking for.
Interesting. So you can create different profiles for different positions, you mean?
So you have one profile, and each time you apply for a vacancy, you need to make sure it matches that vacancy.
That makes sense. And you can include as much information as you want, because you're applying to a bunch of different positions. So you might have to include other information or like extra information.
You might have to change the information. Once you create your account, you'll be able to see everything that you add. And then when you submit the application, that will save and you'll have access to that as well.
Wow, very interesting. So what are the key qualifications that you look at when receiving an application?
First of all of the positions require some amount of experience, whether it is 2 years, 3 years. In some cases, if it's a managerial position or a supervisory position, it may require 5 or 6 years, or it may require 4 years of regular experience in this field and 1 year of supervisory experience. So it's very important to read the position description.
So it's basically all about the position descriptions, and it's all about making sure that you read the things before submitting, basically.
Yes, and the qualifications that you have, make sure that you fully flesh those out, write those out. When it's asking for experience and you're listing your different jobs, list what you did, what the tasks are, what the projects are.
So basically, make sure your profile is as detailed as possible. So when the application is looked at, the applicants get the best chance to get the job. Basically.
Absolutely. Be thorough.
Very interesting. So how does the embassy handle diversity and inclusion in your hiring process?
So when I'm asked that, I live diversity and inclusion every day. We look at the applications. We don't see the background of where an applicant comes from. Although maybe the position requires a college degree, we don't look at one college over another. We don't look at what area they came from. We look at what are your qualifications? Do they meet the position description minimum qualifications? And then we go from there.
Well, very interesting. So as I understand, basically, the U.S. Embassy has a website. The applicants are advised to flesh out their application completely as much as possible to get the best chance. And it sounds like a very lovely application process and very interesting. Thank you so much.
May I add?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's important that if people are interested in working at either the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. Consulate in Erbil, that they should check out the website for vacancies about every 2 weeks. And I also recommend that if you don't necessarily have the experience right now that's needed for that position, keep working in the field, keep your eye out, because you never know when something comes up, and that's your opportunity.
And as I understand, you also have social medias that people, or certain platforms that people can follow you on.
Absolutely. We have social media on X, otherwise known as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and usually we have a connection with LinkedIn for our job opportunities. Right now it's down, but it'll be back up shortly.
Well, thank you so much. I advise the applicants definitely to look at these and do as much research as possible before applying. Thank you so much, Mrs. Morgan, for coming on the show and doing this wonderful interview. And thank
you so much, Hussein. I really appreciate the opportunity.